Hello, it's me, JJ again. I'm going to attempt to continue. Okay. I've been with these episodes, freakouts. Seems like survivor guilt is a definite it has a definite presence and it is a primary cause. I received news back in May that people in my town are being killed by the fentanyl blue pill. And I'm not going to go into my rant about the menace. You see, I feel really badly about this, and I know it's preventable. I have a like a regimen, if you will, like a rehab withdrawal. I have I have a method. I don't know why that was so difficult to say. I guess that's an example of the type of stuff that's leading me to believe that this is a delusional problem that I'm experiencing, that I'm getting as a symptom and side effect. Usually, side effects are associated with medication, but this is separate. This is something totally separate from the typical episode, at least. A typical episode doesn't cause quite such a degree of manic energy in me normally. Normally, it's just a depressing thing, you know? It's really just, it's my personal business. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been living with it for 20 years, okay? So it's not really that personal. It's pretty easy to talk about. Quite frankly, I need to talk about it. So get it off my mind and make sure I'm not still degrading into a lesser, less coherent state. It all seems like I'm quite normal when it's happening. I mean, not the freak out where I'm like, bleh. No, that's not normal. Are you kidding me? I mean, more like when I've managed to like get out of that using my mind control techniques. I've seemed to like not quite be fully in reality. I thought that usually, I've been thinking that usually for the past week prior to this noticing of this absence of absence of the root of a task, the root cause for me to do something keeps slipping away from me and it's leaving me very confused. And this has nothing to do with freakouts. This is just in like right now I'm trying to talk to you and having trouble finding the right words, and it's okay. It's been a long day, but I would normally not have trouble uh, prior to a week ago. Anyways, the thing about a week ago is, yes, I was trying to talk about the fentanyl blue pill overdoses and how they could be prevented, and it just gives me PTSD freakouts, and I think it's resulting in a new trigger, which is definitely not good for me. Seems like with every trigger that I acquire, I think I have about five now. At least five that get activated regularly. And if another one gets added, if I get traumatized again, like, and have a trigger, see, like I've been in bad situations before and not received any triggers. There was one time, two really big guys were stopping me, like I was down on the ground like that. You know, they this his name is Gio. It's short for Giovanni. He's just a homeless street performer, and I believe he's a schizophrenic. That's what the detective that investigated my assault um, told me. Anyhow, I don't have any triggers. I never have to relive that. I've talked about it plenty of times. It just, I guess I wasn't that traumatized by it. I was covered up, and I was just asking them, hey, cut it out, stop, God, you're killing me, saying stuff like that. It was no fun. But like I'm saying, there's no triggers for that, and there's, no, never been a freak out associated with that. But these other ones are the five that I've become familiar with that seem to have the most emotional baggage and seem to wrap me up in this delusional state the most, but I can't say for how long. I'm gonna have to use my previous uh, anything on the internet that I've done during these states. It is gonna it's gonna require a comparison of rational, if I seem rational or not when I'm posting this stuff. It's gonna require yeah. I don't even know how to go about this. I'll figure it out. I'm having extreme setbacks with my everyday life ever since the medications uh, stopped being prescribed to me. Did I say that right? 2 years ago in May, and I had enough of my medication and patches to last up till October. Um, I acquired a few extra patches from their 3-day patches, so I would wear them 4 days. It just kind of added up after a while. After 15 years or so, I just kind of, if I can sleep an extra few hours and not get awoken by opioid withdrawal sickness or pain or a nightmare, let's say, if I could, then I might. That's probably how I accumulated the extra patches, just oversleeping. Anyhow, it's been 2 years of hell, extreme pain. I have some very I get bad injuries in my neck and in between my shoulder blades, down by my waist, like parallel with my belly button, like that region of the waist, and lower down, typical lumbar low back, uh, and so this extreme pain has been torturous, and it seems that when I'm in these extremes, high pain level bouts, I totally have no way to prevent from going into a a a tailspin into a PTSD freakout, and lately it's been the fentanyl blue pill overdoses. It really bothers me, the pointless loss of human life. I feel I have information to contribute that would be of great benefit. Perhaps I am wrong, but I don't know until I speak with someone in authority. I spoke with my doctor earlier. I had to see for medication refills, and I was explaining what was happening, and I was extremely agitated up out of my chair, pacing back and forth, you know, very worried, very upset, basically angry, like as if a life is going to be lost any moment. And it is just bizarre. The day that I had today is bizarre. Let me see if I can recount some of the more bizarre things. Okay, as I was saying in the previous video, I was talking about how let's just take it from the beginning. I It's not easy. But my mind is a jumble. This past week my mind has been a jumble from way too many PTSD freakouts. A higher number than a higher number than average occurrence. And this has left me in this mind weakened state. And it has been disturbing. I keep from getting too upset, but it is very disturbing. I think to myself thoughts like, what if this doesn't go away? What if I've done permanent brain damage from experiencing too many PTSD freakouts? The thing about these episodes is I don't know if there's a better word than freak out, but let's just say I am extremely freaked out, and you can tell, you know? I have been protesting, trying to raise awareness about fentanyl pill deaths. I'm sure everybody knows already because of the news and whatnot, and hopefully not being affected personally, but I mean, who hasn't heard about some tragic incident involving a loved one lately in the year 2024? It's gone down a lot. Estimated 765 deaths this year. That's 2 a day. And that freaks me the hell out. That's a lot of bodies. Um, uh, it's okay. I'm not gonna go dark places. Anyways, doing lots of cyber protests and naturally sharing my knowledge, attempting to, while in pain, untreated pain. I don't know. Sometimes I have more of a painkiller in my system than at other times. It's not really up to me. I don't get properly dosed. I'm hoping to alleviate that problem. I'm hoping to get balanced. That's what I've been begging for like 2 years, is to just be able to get back to being balanced. I have not been able. The levels in my bloodstream of the pain control medication are. I have no control over them. I'm a dysfunctional person, and I can't take a pill on the hour exactly when I'm supposed to. It's just not possible. I'm not that regimented a person. And I sometimes, like, let's say, oh, why don't you set an alarm on your calendar, JJ, on your alarm to go off once every 3 or 6, however many hours. And yeah, sometimes I can't even find my phone. That's how dysfunctional and disabling this condition is. The chronic pain mixed with the mind, it's like as if I get stuck in the past. Like as if I'm just trapped. And the problem with that is I'm trapped with my pain when I don't have a pain control medication. And it's like as if the two are battling, like I was explaining earlier, the pinball feeling, like as if they're playing a game of tennis and I'm the ball. It's like between the pain and the trauma memory, the pain, trauma memory. It's like it's just too much. And I wind up in a completely freaking confused state. Reality is, it's still reality, and I still know where I am, and I still know why I'm there, and I'm still talking to the camera, I guess. I haven't been able to review the videos. I don't want to review the videos, but this is, if I can get stabilized, I will try to. I've been posting stuff that's very out of order. It's been difficult for me to operate my devices or organize my thoughts for some time, and I just had no idea how whacked out I was. I thought that somehow I had taken over the world today because it was Veterans Day, right? And I'm talking about my well, no, it wasn't Veterans Day today. No, it was the other day on Sunday. Excuse me. And I was referring to I felt the need on Twitter to talk about my camera guy. I normally wouldn't do this because it's like I revealed that he was a Navy veteran, and I revealed that he only had one eye left due to a condition that necessitated the removal of his eye. And I was attempting to demand, almost like a terrorist, like I'm making demands that he get a replacement cyber eye that is capable of recording and play, well, wirelessly. It's just some science fiction into the future kind of sounding thing. I don't know if anything like this exists right now, but I was urging that he immediately have that installed. I don't know who I think I'm talking to. I think I think the fans, I think that I'm experiencing, it's like as if somehow I felt like I was in a lot more control of everything than I was. And I thought that for some reason I was gonna reach a lot more people than normal. You know? I've been acting so weird for so long, it's safe to say nobody pays attention to me for a good reason. I mean, I can get very disturbing. I'm a very disturbed person. I've been through some trauma, man. And I got a really good memory, so the trauma don't go away. No matter how much therapy I do. But, I felt like I had everything under control for 19 years, right? You know, nothing too bad has ever happened. But I just back in May, I got in a lot of trouble, and I swear to God, man, this condition with the freaking out has just like continued, and my state of delusion seems to be getting more extreme. I just don't know. It's gonna take a review of social media and such. I was trying to proclaim that the new mass media formats and platforms on the internet these days, such as YouTube and Twitter and like I don't know, I can't think of any others. I was saying that this is with regards to like Marshall McLuhan and his feelings with the regard to the electronic man, the global village, and the media is the message. Okay, and I am disabled. I always have been. I basically had a hip problem when I was a toddler, and I have asthma, and I have learning disabilities. So what? With the learning disabilities, I've always done better with aids, something to aid me, like a note taker, like extended test time, um, like I don't know, like if you're reading out of a textbook, if you hold a ruler or a pencil, a line, so you can only see the text that you're going to read, and then stuff like that. And then with enough practice, with enough reading, you know, and getting on ADD, attention deficit disorder medication a long time ago, I've been able to manage my learning disabilities pretty well. It's practically most of the time it's practically like I don't even have one, as opposed to this past week where it's been really bad. My memory, my short-term memory, my learning disabilities, not to mention that, but my pain has been, it locks me up. So I'm basically unable to move, and I'm just like fumbling with my phone, trying not to go crazy, and this weird shit comes out. And I'm just locked up here. Just ow, ow, ow. Ah, they're all dead. Ow, ow, my back. Ah, they're dead. Ow, ow, ow. And it's such a severe experience. I had no idea it was leaving me so disoriented and delusional until I thought I took over the world today. And I had convinced myself that because of the timing with regards to Veterans Day, and by talking about my camera guy being a veteran, and that by talking about how he needs that one eye, and I want him to have a cyber eye, I felt like this was somehow going to cause empathy, if you will. That's the best way I can describe it. Like as if it would cause a reaction amongst Navy veterans, Navy being the Mark, my camera guy, Navy. I said that, yes, that in their off descendants. Okay, I was thinking, hey, I've had a rough time lately, and I could really use some support. That's really what I want so desperately, is support in the form of money, because I'd like to get some more stem cells injected in my back. I've already had one round, or it's basically 2 rounds. I got two for 1.5, which is $12,000. Naturally, it's taking a while, but I hope to as soon. Meanwhile, I've had to live without the pain meds, and that's like ridiculous for a person in my condition. It's not cool. It's not fair, especially if I'm coming unhinged, like delusional, believing things that are not true. I'm still in reality, but it's just like my interpretation of cyberspace and reality and what's actually going on is completely off and nowhere in reality. I proposed to my friend Sarah over the telephone when I thought that I had secured my future by somehow attaining superstardom and fame and money and fortune. And I was like, I'm finally going to be able to repair my body. I'm finally going to be able to secure my future. Uh, you know, it was a very strange, it was like at one point I mentioned the Truman Show with Jim Carrey, and I am certain, I actually say that I am certain that this is not the Truman Show, because I heard her crying on the telephone, but that wasn't her. She says, so maybe I don't know. Maybe I dialed the wrong. I don't know. It's very difficult to recall the experience. It's, I mean, certain details stick out in my mind. Pretty weird, right? I mean, and I'm attempting to share my political views with regards to many, 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 many subjects. And I'm thinking that somehow I'm going to meet Donald Trump, shake his hand, and he's going to, like, you know, I have very important fentanyl information with regards not only to, like, how we could better cure the afflicted, the people that are currently destined for death. I feel like I have some very good methods that would get them into recovery um, instead of where they are, which is addicted to street drugs. Okay, that's just very basic ideas that I have. You know, these fentanyl patches that I used to be on that are made by Merck, they are safe. They are measured doses, so you don't overdose. And it would be a much tragic loss of life is not, it shouldn't happen. See, and this is where it comes from. These freakouts, that feeling it shouldn't happen. Yeah. Yeah, but it does. Yeah. But I can prevent it. Yeah. That's like the feeling of resentment, and I just fucking lose it. Just thinking that the deaths are preventable and that I have the knowledge to do it is sending me just over the edge with these episodes. And I feel like talking about it is helping because I'm speaking more clearly now and not hunting for words so much. It's a real struggle, and it's terrifying. The way this started was I recall now today I was talking about what I call my Sarah Connors complex. You know, Sarah Connor is a character out of a movie called Terminator 2 Judgment Day. She is the mother of John Carter. Connor. Having some kind of a mechanical problem with processing. Sorry. That's weird. John Connor. That was easy. Sounded like I was trying to say welcome back Cotter or something. Anyways, John Connor is supposed to save humanity from going extinct because the future is bleak and humanity is going to be destroyed by machines with guns. So you've probably seen it. Sarah Connor, she is a lady from she's a lady that's seen into the future. So there you go. It's much like a Cassandra complex, but this is like a doomsday, you know. The Sarah Connors is like doom is certain, and it haunts her. And I keep feeling that way over the fentanyl deaths, the people that are dying needlessly. If I could just share my knowledge, because I know how it is with junkies. You think that they are hopeless? Some people do. Most people do. They think that junkies are hopeless, that they will never get clean, that they want to stay addicted. They think that junkies are all thieves and all liars, and that they will lie to take advantage of you and get you to give them money or unlock your door, and they'll come steal your whatever's worth money at the pawn shop, right? Those are the stereotypes, right? And that is quite typical of a street drug user, which I've explained. I've never been an opioid street drug user. That is just not the way I would get and acquire my medication. Okay? It's always been medication. And That's part of my problem. Losing train of thought. What was the, I'm talking about preventable deaths, Sarah Connor's complex. Yeah, man, I just sense certain doom because there's a number. I think it's up to 350 dead in my hometown now. And it'll be up to 765 before we know it. And we won't have saved a single life. The numbers have been totaled up. And at 50 cents a pill, it's a very difficult scourge to combat all the needless death. And it is now cold outside, and people are going to be getting hypothermia and perhaps dying of a combination of the two, respiratory failure and hypothermia. It's an ugly way to go, and I feel like I have to try as hard as I possibly can to save these people, because no, it feels as if every bit of society is given up on them. And not only that, but there are many people walking around us that are affected with a dead family member, a tragedy, and they have to go on, or maybe a living family member that is currently addicted, a family member that is maybe being pushed away, because that is what happens with junkies usually, is they get pushed away by their families because they are a burden. They require much maintenance, and it is impossible to identify with that if you're not also engaged in that lifestyle, the junkie street drug lifestyle. So yes, many families are very sad. They are hurting very badly, and the sight of me must make them sick. When I'm dope sick, begging for a fentanyl patch, I'm certain that it must look inappropriate. I just have no other way to express myself at this point in time. It's been I've been reeling from these episodes that just send me into rage and fear of, like I say, resentment, like as if, like I really need to speak to someone immediately. I suggest that this one part of the delusion is that we implement an emergency system called ripcord.gov for Americans that are experiencing similar situations to mine. And I'm sorry, I don't know if these too good. If you're experiencing a seemingly life-threatening future, a bleak future, it coming up, who knows? Could be tomorrow. Yeah. What do you do? Well, I suggested inventing something called ripcord.gov, where a person could go and attempt to explain their situation and submit it on a form to have it reviewed by an expert data analyst, information retrieval specialist. Sounds like a good system. But I swear to God, it's just a reaction to being totally helpless and upset about needless death, and feeling like as if I can talk to someone in power or something, then it can be prevented. And it quite possibly could be. I do know a lot of shit. I've been on it for 15 years, and it's and I do have some mental training, some coping skills. When a junkie gets dope sick, the opioid withdrawal, it activates a feeling inside that is known to be an evolutionary trait in I think just about all creatures. the fight or the flight. And that is when you feel that your life is threatened, you either fight, you fight, or you flight. And I have these crippling disabilities, you see, and I've been beat up all over the place, and so I know I can't run away. So it's just I know I can't. There's no point in running for me. I'm not gonna run faster than anyone. I have asthma, a bad leg. I'm not gonna run away from nothing. So what? So it's like as if my fight instinct is honed, like as if that's the only one I got. Hence the rage mode that the manic rage that I've noticed. I get very upset when I'm in pain. I didn't think it was so bad that the rage that I was exhibiting, I didn't think it was extreme. Like think about it. It's happening to me. It's happening from my perspective, and it doesn't feel quite like what it looks like. And the just totally, it's like as if I believed that because of the timing of Veterans Day and the sharing of my sympathy for my camera guy's situation and my desire to get back to making TV again, which it's all true, but it's like, it's not very realistic, right? Well, somehow I'd convinced myself that it had happened, that I had acquired the empathy of others, the Zotketeers, to go out, go forth, and cyber attack, do thy will. And I was getting a little ahead of myself, acting like as if they had already defeated the enemy. Who's the enemy? Well, you see, I get censored in the form of by getting blocked. I say this weird shit when I'm in these delusional states, and it gets my internet accounts blocked all the time, right? I'm like currently banned from Twitch, and I'm not even going to try to go back because I know I can't adhere to their guidelines. I'm a little bit too under medicated, to say the least. But anyhow, um, you know, so I'm currently blocked on my JJ Styles Rocks account on YouTube, and I will deal with that when I can. Like I say, I have a doctor's appointment. I've been dealing with this strange short-term memory loss condition. Okay, I'm not about ready to deal with a form, and I mentioned that on these tweets. I mentioned that that I'm being censored, um, that I'm being blocked, and then I talk about, oh, this is just the influx of, or wait, was that today or yesterday? Uh, you know what? This is starting to overwhelm me. I'm just gonna have to continue this in a little bit. Probably tomorrow. I'm exhausted. I was attempting to get everything understood. I had convinced myself that the Zotketeers and everything that they were such an overwhelming force that it was certainly guaranteed that that we saved the world, that world peace was now a thing. I have shared some opinions and some information with regards to the Israeli Palestinian um, war, if you can call it that. The bullying, I don't know. I've just attempted to do uh, what made sense. It seems like with the World Peace Now thing, it's something I invented. World Peace Now hashtag. It's just my desire to live in a utopia is all. as opposed to where I've been living, which is hell, misery. Anyways, where was I? The World Peace Now thing. I guess it went to my head during this delusion because I felt like as if my opinion towards the whole thing, the Palestinians and I was basically saying it was time for peace talks. We're gonna have them because I had convinced myself I took over the world with the Zacateurs. They were totally fucking shit up. You get it? I was believing it to be true because I had that much faith and self confidence that whatever I did that made this happen, with the Navy and the Veterans Day and the camera guy and the empathy, this whole combination of factors and feelings inside me. Because it is true, man. I do feel really fucking resentful that my camera guy had to go to prison for a year back in 2007 for for possession of something that is legal in Arizona now. It's like 11 short years later, it's completely legal for anyone to have cannabis. But back then in 2007, it was still a heavy crime. So he did his time, grew his easy top beard, sweeping the yard, and that was that. But the problem is I lost my father that year too in November. It's been, 2007 to 2014. So in one fell swoop, I lost my old man, my camera guy. It was only for a year, but for that year I was all alone. But also I lost the video program on public access that I'd been hosting for at least a year or two or something. Video Virus. I really enjoyed doing that program, but I just couldn't handle my pain anymore. The whole injuries, living with the injuries. I was in that accident in 2003, and so I lived until 2007. The best I could. I developed an inguinal ulcer from NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medication, and Dr. Hurtado, God rest his soul, he's dead now. He did a good procedure, scoped me, and got rid of the ulcer. But I was really weary of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories at that point, and I didn't want another one. So I decided I'll get on the opioids and get strung out for the rest of my life because no one can fix my injuries. Okay? That was how I came to the decision. It was the only choice I had because I was just in so much pain, like I'm in now, that I was gobbling up the NSAID everything. Nowadays, when I take a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory like Aleve or Advil or an Excedrin pill over there, I just take one. That's it. The label says to take two. Yeah, that's because they want you to buy more. I find that one typically provides the amount of relief that I expect from an NSAID. Okay? It's not enough relief, but it's definitely relief that I need. Inflammation in the body does occur. It is a natural thing for a person to get swelled up and need something like an anti-inflammatory. But yeah, boy, what a thing I've had to live with, and I've been screwed with by my doctors from 2007 to 2011. I was not receiving testosterone replacement medication, and as a result, I was libidoless for 4 years in my adult human reproductive cycle life. Like in my 20s, relatively handsome, banged up from my accident, but still, capable of having a fulfilling life ahead of me. Yes? Not so much. When they deprived me of the testosterone, it not only robbed me of my libido, but it robbed me of my drive to try and do anything. I wasn't doing much for those 4 years. I didn't have much desire to do anything. I think I was watching a lot of TV, and half the time I wasn't even watching it. I mean, I had just lost my father, and that was a hard hit. That took a while for me to, you know, process. And let's say this is some fucked up shit I'm going through. I gotta get some rest. Pardon me. Oops.